Hey guys, it's Jerica Brochet with Inspired by Jerica Brochet. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been ridiculously long since you've seen my face live, but I have been posting videos, mostly tarot deck oracle review sort of thing. But today I'm actually going to jump back over to the energy healing side of things, and today we are going to start a 6-week mini series journeying through the zodiac signs. And I am so excited about this. So, as you can see on the screen, we are going to be talking about the zodiac signs in regards to their polarity and progression. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. This channel covers a whole bunch of things, a whole lot of things, mainly spirituality and energy healing, and my journey with learning and navigating through both of these worlds and how they kind of mix together in some ways as well. So if you're new, I'm Jerica Brochet, and yeah, welcome to my channel. I am a certified integrative healing arts practitioner. I am also a certified Reiki master in the Usui Roho Reiki method, and I am an astrologer. So welcome. Thank you for visiting, and check out some of my videos to catch my vibe a little bit. If you're a gamer, I do have a gaming channel as well. You can check the description box below for more information on that. So, as I mentioned, today we are starting a 6-week series, mini series, because it's just 6 weeks, learning about the zodiac signs. There is a lot of information out there about the signs, so the fact that you clicked on my video really does mean a lot to me. So let me just take some time to say thank you so much for clicking on my video and being willing to learn through me today. I appreciate that. So, this mini series of journeying through the signs, we're going to be focusing on the signs as individuals or the individual energy of the sign, but we're also going to focus on the polarity of the sign as well. So, the 6 weeks that we'll be journeying through the signs, yes, there are 12 signs. 6 weeks though. So because we're going to be looking at the polarities of the sign, I'm going to be doing 2 videos per week for 6 weeks. So this week we're going to be kicking things off. Excuse me. This week we're going to be kicking things off with the sign of Aries. So that means that we will also be having a video this week on the polar opposite sign, which is Libra. So Aries and Libra will be the signs that we're going to visit this week. And in case you didn't know, I practice astrology from a traditional astrology standpoint. And so that means that I will only be acknowledging the 5 main planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and the 2 luminaries, the sun and the moon. Okay, so we will not be using Pluto, Uranus, or Neptune in this series. And I like this approach. I like this approach for many reasons. Number one, traditional astrology focuses on the 7, including the luminaries, that you can see with the naked eye. And while learning the zodiac signs in regards to their polarity, we can tackle 2 signs at a time. You can understand how they are extremely alike and extremely different. And we don't have to wait forever. I am a Pisces sun, guys. So what that means is I typically always have to wait until the very end to get to my signs. So we're going to cut some of that time in half by tackling 2 signs per week. Although each sign will have its own video. So it'll still be 12 videos, but we'll drop them 2 at a time to keep it within that 6-week time frame. So I hope that makes sense. That way it doesn't take super long to get to Pisces, but it'll still be the last video. So maybe I didn't think that out all the way. I don't know. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we dive deep into the signs, specifically Aries, I want to give a super duper quick introduction to astrology and what it is from my perspective. I already mentioned that I do practice and study from a traditional standpoint, but I also want to just kind of give like my personal opinions and perspective and thoughts on what astrology is and how to practice it. So, astrology derives from the Greek word astro, meaning star, and logos, meaning language, knowledge, or information. So, astrology is the language of the stars and or the knowledge that comes from the stars. It is a beautiful, beautiful art of communicating. Astrology also studies the correlation between the movement of the celestial bodies, the planets, and the terrestrial events on Earth. And it operates under the universal law of correspondence. So, the law of correspondence, you may be familiar with it, especially if you're familiar with the Hermetic principles or a book like the Kabbalion. But essentially, you may have heard the axiom as above, so below, as within, so without, right? And so basically, what this is saying is that the universe is this one whole system, and within this whole systems are lesser but whole systems nonetheless, that fluctuate and operate, and they correlate to the functions of the greater whole. So you've got the greater whole, and then you have lesser wholes within it that function within and that correlate to that greater whole. And then whatever is born or done at a particular moment in time inherently has the qualities of that moment. And astrology describes the nature of those moments. So if you've ever been to like a wine tasting, and the wine connoisseur was basically able to taste the wine, and just from tasting the wine they could tell you the year, potentially the vineyard, or where what part of the world that particular wine probably derived from. Astrology is sort of like that. So our time of birth or the birth of any particular event basically inherently possesses the qualities of that time. And so, yeah, astrology describes those special moments. Okay, so quick intro to the signs. So zodiac derives from the Greek word zodiakos or zodiakos, meaning circle or the little circle of animals. And the signs are birthed from a combination of interactions between the four elements, which produce the four seasons, and the modalities in which they operate. So we know that there are four seasons, okay? Typically, you've got spring, summer, winter, and well, spring, summer, fall, and then winter. And each season has a beginning, a middle, and a transition period. And that beginning, middle, and transition period is what we call in astrology the modality. The combination of the four seasons and the three modalities is what gives us the 12 zodiac signs. So we have four seasons or four elements, and then you have three modalities. 3 times 4 is 12. And voila, that is how we get 12 zodiac signs. Now, contrary to popular belief, okay, the signs are not the star of the show, but they do spice up things with a bit of flavor. They are, however, the environments in which the true stars, which are the planets, express themselves. So we want to, when we're considering the zodiac signs, we want to make sure that we are looking at them as environments, okay? So instead of saying, I am a Pisces, I could say, I have the sun in Pisces. Because it just kind of gives you a different way of looking at it and just kind of reminds you what's most important and who's boss when you're doing interpretations in astrology, because things can be very complicated when you're trying to interpret a chart and you're too focused on the sign versus the planet that may be in the sign, because without the planet, doesn't matter anyway. Okay. All right, so we are going to be interpreting the meaning of the signs based on four major things, and that is the gender of the sign. So is it masculine or feminine? Is it yang or yin? Okay, we'll also be focusing on the element. So number two is the element of the sign. Is it a fire sign, an air sign, an earth sign, or a water sign? Number three is the mode or the modality of the sign. So is it like the beginning where it's cardinal? Is it like the middle where it's fixed? Or is it transition type energies such as a mutable? So cardinal, fixed, and mutable are the three different modalities that we will also use to help classify and interpret the sign. And last, number four, excuse me, we will consider the planetary ruler of the sign. So which planet or luminary governs that particular sign? Everybody on board? Awesome. Okay, let's go. Let's jump into Aries. Okay, so because there is a story of progression as you go from sign to sign, we're going to go ahead and kick off with Aries. And that is why, even though I am biasly a Pisces, or I have the sun in Pisces, we're going to start with Aries for the sake of the story of progression, okay? And we'll put it all together by the 12th video and at the end of the 6-week series, okay? So starting with Aries, Aries is big four. The gender is yang or masculine, okay? The element is fire. The modality is cardinal, or another word for cardinal that you may see used in astrology is tropical. And the ruler, the planetary ruler for Aries is Mars. So if we swing back around to the gender, so Aries energy is yang or masculine, meaning that it has a very expressive quality to it. It is projecting. It is externally expressed. It's something that you can experience externally. And it's expansive. In regards to the element, it is of the fire element. It is a fire sign. So that makes Aries very active. It has hot and dry qualities to it. It is radiant. It's dynamic, extroverted, and consuming. The modality being cardinal or tropical means that it begins the season of spring. So that beginning, think about keywords that go with beginning, right? It starts, it initiates, it drives. So cardinal energy is very action oriented. However, it does lack follow through. So lighting to start things, not so much in maintaining or finishing things. The excitement is all in getting things started, and that's okay. Now, being that fire is generated from the temperament qualities of hot and dry, you can see how the hot quality would give Aries that radiance, that activity, that dynamic and extroverted flavor. And then the influence of dry is what's going to add a quality that's sort of like resistant or tense sort of expression for Aries. So, and this is basically because as heat increases, because we're talking about spring, right? So as heat increases, moisture decreases. And so things, as it gets hotter, it also gets drier. So the quality of dry is actually birthed from the quality of hot, because again, as heat increases, so does dryness. And that is why during spring, we begin to see a decrease of moisture from the winter, that coldness and that moisture from winter, and we see it getting warmer. It is increasing. The heat is increasing. And spring or Aries season is what marks the vernal equinox, or what we call spring, Easter, that time of year. And tropical means turning point. So Aries season is a turning point for us because we are getting, the sun is gaining light again. It's almost like it's a triumphant type of thing, which is why Easter and well, I guess like whether you celebrate Easter from a pagan standpoint or from a more religious standpoint, it's about the return of the sun, right? So the sun has been slain and under the earth, right? So the sun was, uh, or if we look at it from a religious standpoint, when Jesus died on the cross, was buried for 3 days, right? Because the sun loses its light. And then Aries season is when the sun begins to resurrect. Okay. We get back to a time where, at least in the northern hemisphere, the days are becoming longer again, and then the nights are becoming shorter. So there's like this triumphant moment for the return of the sun. And this was a big deal for our ancestors, and why you have pagan or festivals or celebrities, oh my gosh, celebrations such as Easter or Ostara, or whatever type of spring return of the light festivities that may take place. So understanding that hot qualities, actually hot and moist qualities together, are actually very conducive to growth. And so Easter and Ostara are times of fertility in spring. And even though we haven't quite tapped into the moisture just yet, you do have some moisture that is left over from winter that sort of gets carried over into spring, that begins to promote the growth of our plants and the return of our flowers and all that good stuff, right? But cold and dry qualities are actually antagonistic to growth. So it prevents those things. So with Aries energy, you do have the heat, which increases, but because that dryness is there too, that can sort of give you an idea about its ruler, Mars. And Mars is very hot and dry as well. It is action oriented. It has drive. There's friction and agitation, because as things dry, like if you've ever put something in the microwave and you overcooked it, especially if it's bread or something that initially had moisture, it dries out. And as it dries out, it begins to crack, right? And cracks create separation. And so when we're talking about Mars, there's a cutting, there's a separation, a bit of division that's in that Aries energy. There's tension, there's aggression that's there. And so you may already be able to start to interpret and put together how Mars's influence on Aries really sticks out. So let's get into talking about the essence of Aries then. So if we merge the interpretations that we derive from the big four, we're talking about the gender being yang or masculine. We're including the element of fire. We're including the modality influence, which is cardinal or tropical. And then we're also considering the influence of Mars. All of that together is going to give you the essence of Aries energy. And so then Aries energy is impulsive, it's impatient, it's spontaneous. It requires stimulation. It's that fire energy. If you don't feed a fire, what happens? It goes out, right? And because Aries is the cardinal modality of the fire signs, because you have 3 fire signs, but Aries is the cardinal version of fire. So it's the quickest, it's really going to burn out. If you do not feed an Aries, if you do not keep an Aries energy entertained, it's going to burn out. It's going to become bored. So it likes spontaneity. It requires stimulation. And it's very quick. And because of that dryness, that creates agitation or separation, those cracks that divides one side from another side. Aries energy tends to be more self-centered. It tends to be more focused on individuality. And so planets that are in the environment of Aries, they tend to be very expressive, fast acting, quick moving, impulsive, independent. It's the I want to do it by myself. I'm a one man show. I want to do it on my own. It's very self serving and risky. And, being that the sun itself is about radiance. It's regal. When we think the energy of the sun, if not for the sun, everything would die. So the sun is really is the star of the show in the solar system. And so you can imagine why the sun is exalted in the sign of Aries. This is really its comfortable place. It really likes to be here. And so Aries energy really gives the sun that radiance, and it supports the independence, the leadership that the sun likes to exhibit. So, yeah, I would definitely charge you guys to consider where you have the sun in your chart. If you have the sun in Aries, you may really resonate with some of what I'm saying. And if you have the ascendant in Aries, from an ascendant standpoint, you're going to feel it more so personality wise. Consider also if you have the moon in Aries, because you may also feel some of this energy more so emotionally. Maybe you feel this energy a little bit more internal, but you are external with how you express it. So, the moon in Aries may feel like, that everybody else may not see this side of you unless they're really close to you, but you do exhibit the energy. It is something that could be seen. So that is the essence of Aries. Now, if we're getting into the polarity, Aries's polarity sign is Libra. Okay. And when we're talking about polarity are just two sides of the same coin, or things that appear to be opposite or contradictory, but really they're just two extremes of the same thing. So they are identical in nature, but they differ in degree. And the zodiac signs beautifully illustrate this law. And the law of polarity is another universal law similar to the law of correspondence. But if we look at the polarity for Aries, which is Libra, I'm trying to show you on the screen where they are alike and where they are different. So the reasons why Aries and Libra are polarity signs, meaning that they are identical in nature, is because they are both cardinal and they are both yang. So their gender and modality are the same. They are both expressive. They are both going to be dynamic. They are both going to be extroverted. And they're both cardinal. So that means that they both like that self-starting. They like to begin things. They like to start things. They like to drive the energy, but they both lack follow through. Aries and Libra energy don't really care to do the maintaining or wrapping up things. They just want to come in, they want to get things started, and then it's somebody else's job to take it from there. That is where they are of the same nature, and they have that in common. Now, because we live in a world of duality, they are going to be extremely different in some ways too. And the extremities that I'm talking about is because of the influence of their planetary ruler. So because Aries is ruled by Mars and Libra is ruled by Venus, that's where you're going to see them behaving, or the energy being experienced very differently. Okay. So, and you also have the elemental differences as well. Libra is an air sign and Aries is a fire sign, but they are complementary in the sense that they both rise up. Air actually, fan the flames. What is that fan from? It's air, so air and fire do support each other in that they do have that lightness in common, that spontaneity in common, that radiance, and being very dynamic. They have that in common. But you're going to see that Martian twist for Aries, and then you're going to see that Venusian influence on Libra. So in the next video, when we jump into Libra, you're going to be able to see more of the stark differences, but also similarities between both signs, Aries and Libra. So, where is Aries energy in your chart? I do want to mention really quick, you guys, that the glyphs on my chart that I have here are a little bit backwards because of me having to flip around the image to get an Aries rising chart. So please ignore that. If it looks a little funny, that's why. I just wanted to bring attention to that really quick. But where do you guys have Aries energy in your chart? I have broken down for you where Aries, the energy of Aries may be experienced based on your ascendant sign or rising sign. So if you are an Aries rising, then you're going to see Aries energy in your personality, your behavior, your vitality, and your health. If you are a Taurus rising, you're going to see Aries energy more as a shadow self, in the privacy of the psyche and in the unconscious, because this is going to be the you're going to have Aries on the 12th house. For Gemini risings, you're going to see Aries energy being expressed with your friends, in groups, or within your social interactions. For Cancer rising, you're going to see Aries energy in your career or your public self. Again, with Aries being the polarity to Libra, that means that for the Cancer risings, you have Libra on the 4th house. And so where if at home you may have had that Libra energy, when you go out into the world, you're looking for Aries energy, and that's kind of what you embody. For the Leo risings, you're going to see Aries energy in the 9th house of spirituality and traveling, philosophy, and higher learning. For the Virgo risings, you're going to see Aries energy in your 8th house, which is other people's stuff, you know. So an Aries rising may be, you know, a little bit bossy, you know, when it comes to other people, shared resources. You know, whoever is sharing resources with a Virgo rising may see more of that dominance of that Aries energy come through. Libra risings, you are going to see this on the house of relationships, the 7th house, and any sort of commitment. So whatever sort of relationship, whether it be business relationships, marriage, romantic relationships, or relationships with just people that are close to you in general, you're going to have more of an Aries take as well. Scorpio risings, you're going to see Aries energy on the 6th house. So this is going to be your daily routines, your work, what you might do for a living, your health, and where you are altruistic, like where you are self-serving, or not self-serving, I'm sorry, but serving to others. Sag rising. So if you're Sagittarius rising, you're going to see Aries energy on your 5th house, and that's going to be the house of creativity, fun. This is where you are self-expressing yourself. This is where you may take risks. And this is the house of sex. So, you know, if you are dating a Sagittarius rising, or if you're a Sagittarius rising yourself, that's a part of your spontaneity, is because you have another fire sign energy that's on the house of self-expression. Capricorn rising, you are going to see Aries energy on the 4th house of home and family, the more private self. So for Capricorn risings, this Aries energy is going to be felt way more privately, more internally. It's a side of you that you may not show very often, but that people you live with, for example, they may see this side of you, you know, because typically Capricorn energy can be very cool natured due to that Saturn influence. However, in private, there's a fiery side to you that some people may not know is there. For Aquarius rising, you're going to see Aries energy on your third house. So this is going to be in regards to how you process information, how you take in and how you give out information, how you communicate. Your local environment, like your neighborhood, may have more Aries energy to it. Your relationship to your siblings may also have more of an Aries energy to it. And lastly, for Pisces rising, if you are Pisces rising, you're going to see Aries energy on the second house. And this is the house of resources, your earnings, so how you earn money, your spending habits, and what it is that you find valuable or what you think holds value is going to have more of an Aries approach to it. So an Aries rising may be way more extroverted and exert their energy when it comes to their money or when it comes to how they are able to gather their resources, or what they find valuable. So you guys need to make sure that you have a copy of your birth chart. If you don't, I'm going to have some instructions in the description box below so that you can draw up your own chart and be able to see where Aries energy is being influenced in your chart. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I tried to be as quick as possible on the energy of Aries. Again, my name is Jerica Roche. I am a spiritual maven, astrologer, certified Usui Reiki master, a certified integrative healing arts practitioner, and I want you guys to get to know yourself energetically. So at this time, I am offering a simple 30 to 45 minute personality analysis of using your birth chart. And so definitely be sure to also check my website, because I don't know what time you may be watching this video, but be sure to keep up with me on Instagram and on the site so that you will know if this particular reading is still being offered. It is being offered as the time that I am posting the video. But if you're watching this 6 months later, this reading may or may not be available. So if you want to keep up with me, make sure that you follow me on my social medias. And yeah, all of the information for booking will be in the description box below. So thank you again for watching, and please stay tuned for the next video because we're going to jump into the polarity sign for Aries, which is the sign of Libra. Thank you again. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed today's video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Be inspired. Bye.